We're back again for the mental health wellness experience, and I'm feeling super excited because we're on our way to go to Tennessee. How do you feel?
I feel excited.
And how do you feel?
I feel amazing.
Okay, then, teamwork make the dream work. And in order for us to make the dream work, it takes a team. So I'm just glad that you all have partnered up with the Mental Health Wellness Experience Community Step In. Can you introduce yourself and tell what you do and what's your name?
Yes, I am LaTonge Woods. I am the executive director and founder of the Torch brand and the Torch Team program. And Torch stands for Tackling Opposition with Resilience, Character, and Heart.
And I am Derek Durden, the motivational speaker, coach, and author. My message is simply, it doesn't matter what you've been through, what you currently go through. You can always create the life you desire. And on top of that, I'm also the Teen Life Director and Board President with the non-profit organization Torch.
Okay, that's great. Mental health is real. Mental health matters, and you all both have gotten certified as a mental health first responder, first aider. Mm-hmm. And so what does that mean to you, knowing that you took the time out to get the education, not to diagnose, but be able to identify when one is going through the mental health, and by you working with the youth, how does that relate to what you're doing?
Yes. Well, I actually initially got certified about 3 years ago. So I actually did the recertification through your organization. And it's just another added bonus to be able to work with teens, as you say, to identify if they are in a mental health crisis and provide for them the support and the guidance they need. And of course, to direct them to someone that is a mental health professional to be able to assess them even further.
Okay, and you're certified. Being certified and knowing that we don't diagnose, but you are able to identify, when one, how is this working for you, being that you are a first responder mental health aider?
It really just provided me the tools in order to, as you say, not diagnose, but direct the individual to the help that they really need. With over 59 million people diagnosed with mental health issues here in America, it's very important that, especially if they're in the middle of a crisis, to be able to step in, provide valuable information, and guide them along the way to get them to the help that they need, because only 50% of people who are diagnosed get any type of help at all.
Yeah, because mental health is real. 1 out of 5 people suffer from mental health, and you all, it's a stigma behind mental health. Mm-hmm. It's a big stigma. Dealing with the youth, we often hear about the school bullying, and so a lot of times that it's a stigma behind, oh, she's crazy, or they're weird, or they're thrown off, and things like this. And so working with the youth and seeing how the development goes on, what age group are you working with in the school district?
Yes. Well, in the school district, I'm about to go back into the middle school, junior high level, but I work with every level. But the Torch Team program is geared towards middle and high school students. So you're talking about 12 to 18-year-olds, that adolescent developmental stage.
Okay, and so earlier, when I was speaking to you earlier before we started the show, you talked about how you also help individuals to make better decisions.
Right.
And so when it comes to decisions, sometimes people can make good decisions, and sometimes people can make bad decisions. Where did you come up with that concept to be able to help gear people towards making good decisions?
It comes from personal experience. And the process of making good decisions starts off with going introspectively to face that trauma that we previously faced, because the decisions that we make that are not healthy or helpful are based on things that are basically based on trauma. And so you got to think about the trauma that we face as children, in our teenage years, and even as adults, that continues to stay with us until that is actually dealt with and healed. And so it it causes us a foundation to make bad decisions, even if we're good people.
Yes, as good people, being able to make the good decisions. When you think about childhood, the childhood trauma that goes with mental health, I've managed to turn my trauma as a child into my testimony by promoting the mental health wellness experience. My oldest son, he is the founder of the mental health wellness experience, and we kind of like embraced it under an umbrella of Community Step In to be able to educate the community, provide the free training, whether it be anger management, mental health first responder, first aider classes. We have come together in the city of Grand Prairie, offering the free certification at the Dalworth Recreation Center. I'm so thankful for the Parks and Recreation Department in the city of Grand Prairie for allowing me to be able to host such programs and panel discussions that you all have been a part of in the future, and you all coming together to make the mental health wellness experience is what it was. And so my childhood trauma started at a very young age, just seeing my father as a civil rights leader, just the abuse that he went through, the injustice that he extended as a leader, and then my own trauma that I had within the police department of the sexual experience of trauma that I had to go through with the police department. My dad was my hero, and it's so important to realize that, the structure of the family. I had my mom, my mother, and my father was married for over 60 years. And so my father recently passed away. I am grieving. Grieving is a part of somewhat of a mental health, and so there's no ending to like grieving. But one of the things that my father did tell me is that, I support what you're doing, Carol. I support what you're doing because you're doing a wonderful thing. You're doing something to help the people. I support you. When I'm gone, I might not be there with you, but I'm going to be there in spirit, because what you're doing is bringing value not only to the city of Grand Prairie, but to people, because you're on a national level. And that's why we're super excited that we're on our way on a journey to going to Tennessee, to famous soul food restaurant. And so we're able to give out awareness about mental health. And so what motivates you as a educator to help have a torch and to be able to pour into the youth so they can be better, because the youth are the future leaders?
Right. Basically because I know that it's needed. As an educator, there's a lot of gaps in education, again, particularly since COVID. Budget cuts, a lot of essential personnel that was there to help young people with mental health is not there. And it's all our responsibility to provide a safe space for them. So Torch is just an extension of the home, of the school, of the community, and we just try to do our part with this nonprofit organization.
Okay, and you are part of Torch. You all have your own organization. What we've done is we've managed to have conversations. Believe it or not, we've certified NFL players, ex-NFL players. Brandon Marshall is really big on the mental health education. We have a lot of our athletes who are coming out talking about their own, mental health when it comes to contact sports, such as brain injuries. That is a part of mental health, having trauma to the brains. And so you were an athlete in school. Okay, you were an athlete. And so I'm going to get to that point. But child development, when you speak about child development, you speak about the child trauma that ones go through. What was it like, you being a child, like coming up? What was it like for you?
I was actually raised by my grandmother, so the absence of my mother and father in my direct household played a big role on me feeling neglected and abandoned. So my mom had her household where she was married, and my dad had a household where he was married, and they both was raising two of my sisters apiece. And so for me, I'm in the household with my grandmother, wondering why I couldn't be a part of one of my parents' household. Like, what made me different? And as a child, sometimes we place that responsibility on ourselves. What did I do wrong? And that was a burden that I should have never had to carry. And so throughout my life, as I grew up until I got to the point where I was able to deal with it and heal from it, I carried that with me, and I made a lot of bad decisions trying to fill that void that was there for the lack of the presence of my parents.
And the fact that your grandmother raised you up, right? And so you encourage the youth to bring their parents, you encourage the parents to come. How is that important? Why is that so important to have the parents to participate with Torch?
Yeah. Well, parental involvement is important. Just going back from my days as a early childhood teacher, you would see the parents every day. You would see extended families, and working with young people, a part of it is being able to service the whole family. It's the holistic approach of whatever they're getting, their parents need to be getting something so they can support them in that. So we work on communication skills with parents so that they can be able to talk to their teens, get a better understanding. So if they are going through something, a potential mental health crisis, they know they have a safe space with their parents, and their parents know how to engage with them in those conversations. So it's almost impossible to effectively work with young people in the school system, sports, anything, without having parental involvement. Now is not the time to just drop kids off and go and do your thing when there's events. You're seeing a lot more conferences for young people with components that gear towards meeting the needs of the parents or the guardians as well.
Yeah, and that's just a wonderful concept and ideal, to have. We're living in a society where you have a lot of single parents. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of youth that are homeless. There are a lot of individuals that are coming from single parent families.
Right.
Their grandmother, like you said, your grandmother raised you up. And so there may be some inquiring minds, some parent, whether it be a father or a mother, watching us and saying, I don't have the time. I have to work, I have to pay bills, and I don't have the time. And it may be some person that's watching this video saying, that's my me time. I don't get any me time. So when they're participating in things at schools or programs, I need to go get my nails done. Or, I need to go run an errand, go pay a bill. What do you say to that parent? Because it is okay. It's okay to not to be okay. We deal with everyday anxiety, depression, stress all together. Well, just the property. Among the African American black community, we struggle in the health system of that lack of education, right along with get the most injustice when it comes to the justice system. So we leave it up to the healthcare professionals to help us get a better diagnosis and evaluate what it is that we're dealing with. Some of us, don't have psychosis symptoms, but it's important to know that it's okay to go get the help that you need to balance it out every day. For many years, we as a black community and people in general have used the church, the faith-based leaders, to go to kind of like balance it off every day. But you see so many people church hurt, and so they're not really just getting that. And so for you, being that your parents did not raise you up and your grandmother raised you up, and making the best decisions, what would you say to that parent out there, that single father, single mother, or just parents together that don't have that time to participate in their children's life?
I think that the main thing is to create a community. You can't do it by yourself. And knowing and understand that's why you have mentors, you have coaches, you have family members that can step in and really assist in those times of need, especially when you're raising a child. Just really building out an association, even if it's through sports. You say a lot of people are church hurt, but church is another organization that you can build a community through. And there's other nonprofit or after school or different programs that you can involve the child in order to build a community to be able to step in when you're not truly able to be fully there, fully present, but making sure that they are with a group of individuals that are first safe and also provide that emotional and intellectual assistance to be there for their child.
And it's a stigma behind mental health, and some people are ashamed. they're just ashamed to talk about it. A lot of people get misunderstood. I know that me dealing with my childhood trauma, not having the grief counseling that comes out, not really having the conversation. My father was more on trying to protect us as a family together, and still standing up as a political leader, and trying to be that voice in the community when it really wasn't that many voices to stand up for strong. That it is a stigma behind it where people make fun of you and they call you names and things like this, and it's not cool to get the help. And so as I developed as a young adult, I knew that it was important for me to get with programs, get with other people, go see that therapist, go see that psychiatrist, because I knew that I needed to do something in order to be able to make a difference and get the help that I need, being a mother, being a parent. And so when you see children, youth, what are the age group that you're dealing with? And when you see these children come, what is the purpose of the hope that you're giving these young people?
Well, our primary age group is middle high school students, so 12 to 18-year-old. And the hope that we're trying to give them, number one, is that they matter. Mental health matters, but most importantly, they matter. Secondly, their voice matters. Giving them an opportunity to have a voice. Interpersonal skills are declining because, again, people are so caught up into technology. So having conversations now is rare with the actual person. And we understand that technology is a big thing, but a lot of our young people are using that as a shield to hide pain. Some of them are using it just as an avoidance to deal with life. And if you don't have parents or adults there that can pull you from that and say, how are you really feeling? Tell me about your day. Talk to me. They're holding so much inside. And that's why the mental health crisis that a lot of them go through of anxiety and depression is because they feel hopeless and that no one is there to listen to them. So we provide several different methods of safe spaces. One of them is our bi-weekly check-ins called 3T, Torch Teen Talk, where we bring the teens on virtually. It's 30 minutes, and we just see how their day was going. They get to talk to other teens. We do different activities with them. We bring in guest speakers to talk about different topics, but it's just a mental check-in with them. And they may not have talked to anybody the whole day. Now, they've been around students, they've been around other people, their peers, but again, people aren't interacting. People aren't being vocal and verbal and really being able to have their voice heard the way they need to. And when you're talking about young people when making bad decisions with gun violence, the anxiety of not knowing how to handle their emotions, again, could all be channeled in a positive way if they just had a conversation. So middle, high school students, that adolescent stage is very critical for some important decisions that can impact the rest of their lives, good or bad.
Yeah, it's just very important, through the child development from preschool to elementary school, middle school, and high school is so important. Mm-hmm. The environment plays a big role. Environment plays a big role. The situation in general plays a big role. I do remember that I have two sons, and I do remember that my oldest son, he got a football scholarship. My son played football from Pee-wee all the way up to high school and college. We just thought that he was just going to go into the NFL. Mm-hmm. His dad played in the NFL, but the great thing about it is my son academic rise throughout school, from elementary to middle school to high school. He went extreme and above academic wise on student council, honor society, very, very smart, scored high always on the test, really both of my sons. But when he graduated from college, he got his degree in business finance. He's like, Mom, I'm not gonna play in the NFL. He always told me when he was young, I'm gonna play in the NFL, Mom. I'm gonna do this. But you know what? I let him make his decision. I let him make that same choice. And we're seeing a lot of the parents, a lot of times, and when it comes to petty sports, a lot of the parents can push their child. And on top of that, not even realizing that sometimes behavior that they're seeing, it could be a result of a concussion they might have had early on in life, because on a national league we're seeing these head concussions, these trauma concussions that look very aggressive. It looks like bipolar. And it breaks it down within the brain that people can get aggressive. You're seeing these athletes literally killing, being aggressive, domestic violence, drinking their problems away. And so it all extends from really childhood type of trauma, the things that you went through, and just really not being able to process it in the people that you're around. And so with the decisions that parents make and leaders make in the family, I want to ask you, Mr. Durden, that playing a role, you being an athlete, I do hear that you did play football, okay? And so you played football up to your senior year.
Correct.
Okay. So you were like the star player.
Correct.
And you masterminded, also academic-wise. These are similar to the stories that I've heard from many of the ex-NFL players that I've interviewed and NFL players that I've interviewed that they were good in sports. Okay, and so what happened during your senior year, because you were on your way going to college?
Yeah, the anger that I had built up inside of me reared its ugly head. The lack of appreciation for authority. Looking up to my role models like Allen Iverson and Michael Vick, these individuals on the court and off the court, they did it their way. And so a lot of times you got to understand the people that you look up to, the people that you follow, you will end up in some of the same situations that they end up in. And so my senior year, even though I was a star quarterback and starting point guard for both the football and basketball team, I couldn't get along with the coaches. I felt like I was above the team, that they needed me. And at the end of the day, though, it played out that no person is bigger than the team. And not gelling, and as the leader, because of my positions, that made me the leader of those teams. Because the quarterback is the one who orchestrates the offense on the field, and the point guard is the one who orchestrates the basketball plays on the basketball court. But in being a real leader, you're really a servant. And when you step outside of that and you make yourself the highlight or the quote-unquote most important person, you step outside of leadership, and it becomes egotism, selfishness. And just in that, my talent may rule for me, but my character is what kicked me out of those positions. And so eventually, to make a long story short, even though I had letters to go to UNT and TCU and all these different colleges, I was kicked off of both the football team and the basketball team due to my inability to be a team player based off my anger and aggression.
The anger and aggression. And so how did you think that your teammates perceived you to be, because you were able to perform well on the football field, and you lashed out in anger, looking back then?
I mean, they looked at me, individually as a person, they knew that I was talented. They knew that I was a good person. But in that setting, when it came to the team, I was a distraction. And so in order for any team to win, every individual has to play their role, execute in their position. And how could I actually lead and put our team in position to win if my mindset was that of selfishness, of pride, of egotism? And that really, on the field, made them look at me as incapable of filling my role as a quarterback and a point guard.
Okay, and so, being that you are part of Torch and you all are working together, how has it been for you being an educator and a first responder for mental health first aider to be able to recognize some things that maybe a youth is going through something, and how were you able to overcome that to help them find hope?
Right. Well, identifying, which is the main thing that you do as a first responder for youth mental health first aid, it allows you again to kind of, number one, you have to build a rapport with the young person, to kind of know their personality and just kind of know some things about them. And this just comes from being in the educational realm. But as far as with our Teens with Torch, we just started season 3. So we had a few of the teens there on Saturday, but we're going to have more in-person things as well as what we do virtually. And if there's ever a time we need to pull a student or pull a teen individually and work with them, work with the family, we also have a communication skills director that's a part of our team, Professor Tiffany Gaines. She's worked with families, with teens. She's a licensed speech language pathologist. So she's trained to not only hear what students say verbally or individuals say verbally, but to look at body language. Because sometimes the loudest thing can be what's not said, but what's not, what's said, but what's not said. And all of these things just allow us, again, to meet the needs and serve these young people, because no matter what they may look like on the outside, mentally, you never know what a person's going through. They may say they're fine, they may say they're okay, they may say their day was good, but you never know what's beneath all of that. And that's what we really, not just with our teen ambassadors, when we go and we do speaking engagements around other teens, I love to do sessions and build rapport with different organizations. I don't want to just go one time, because again, you're trying to let young people know they have a safe space. They're not going to trust you the first time you go, maybe, but as you build a rapport with them, you build those collaboratives with other networking organizations, you get to see what young people really need, and then that's where the impact comes in. So it's about being consistent, it's about being compassionate, but it's also about being very intentional in what you're doing. And that's what I personally, through the Torch Team program, hope to bring to the mental health experience, letting people that work with young people know that you have to have all those attributes if you want to see some results, some positive results from our young people, and get them to trust you.
That's amazing. And you know what? You are so beautiful. A beautiful woman. Don't even look like you've been through anything. What drives you to care about the youth and care about and having the program that you do? What drives you to doing that?
Well, a lot of positive things drive me. The first thing is, like, I grew up with a village, very small town in central Louisiana. I was also raised by my grandparents. So my mom was a teen mom. My grandparents were young. In 1977, to be 38 and 40 as grandparents was, that was young. And they still had 5 other children in the home with my mom as a teen mom. So, and that's not to put my mom out there. She's done a great job and built a great life for herself. But I always had family around me. I had that village, extended family. So I know what it is to serve people. I truly love people. I'm not going to walk in a room and be the life of a party, but I love people. I love serving people, helping people. I'm the oldest of 35 grandchildren, so I've been around kids my whole life. And those are the positive things. But then there's some other personal things that really allow me to want to serve children, serve families. And, that's something within time I'll be more comfortable talking about it and sharing my testimony. But I know that everything that happens, it happens for a reason. And again, you have to not be selfish, because there's other people that need the gifts that we have, and we have to just make ourselves available.
That's just great. It's time for us to do a spirit check.
Mental health matters.
Spirit check.
Mental health matters.
Yeah, because it does, matter. When it comes to the justice system, when it comes to the healthcare system, we as a race, as a black race, we're just not getting them equal education in the healthcare system. We're not getting the equal justice. Right now, the federal government, they're taking out the free lunch program in the schools. The fact that it seems like that the rich are getting richer, they're getting tax breaks, and the schools are having programs taken away from them. Even the special ed program that can programs with people like you, your Torch organization, coming into the school district. How do you think, Mr. Durden, being that you remember you being in high school, having the anger with you, that it's going to affect many children?
I think that the cutbacks are specifically designed, and it's not only going to affect the youth, it's going to affect everybody. It's one of those things that's going to have an exponential effect on society as a whole. you have young individuals, especially teenagers who are and middle-aged students that are sitting in their rooms playing video games like Call of Duty. That really, the foundation of it is violence, and that's being implanted in their head at such a young age. And so what we know and understand is that what is implanted in a mind will eventually sprout into some type of seed and to eventually become some type of reality for that individual. And so with the lack of help that they need, but the continuous planning of violent ideas is a recipe for disaster, for a violent world that will be very chaotic, and it will affect the children and society as a whole.
Yes, it will. And so we have got to get the local, on a local level, our city officials to be able to understand, our school districts to be able to understand and hear the voice. Anything when it comes to poverty, when it comes to just a lack of education, just the academic part of the teachers and lack of teachers, just a lot of teachers wanting to work, it's all under the umbrella of mental health. And so our lawmakers, the legislators, they are the ones that will make these decisions on the future leaders. And so you with Torch program, you involve a lot of the parents being like really active involved with the children. And why is that important? Because the reason why I say that, it may be some parent that says, hey, I don't have the time. But why is it important that parents participate, whether it be a mother or a father? We know that grandmother usually is always going to be there. Your grandmother raised you up. But we're living in a day and time that it's so important that the immediately parents, but we're living absent parents. You have children that are raised up in foster care. The parents are not there. Why is it important that you think that parents should participate?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's several reasons why I know that it's important, and I do understand that the availability isn't always there for parents. There are parents that are working multiple jobs. But whenever there's an event, particularly something dealing towards your child mental health, think about it like this. No parent, because it wouldn't be allowed, would drop their child off at a doctor's appointment, a physical doctor's appointment, under the age of 18 and say, I'm going to go get my nails done, I'm going to go do something else, and think it will be okay. A child's mind is just as important as the physical aspect of who they are. So whenever we have events and we invite parents, or we encourage, I always say encourage parents to come, it's important because not only do they need to be there to support their child, but there's things that is being provided for them. When the child goes home and the parent didn't come to the event, again, the parent may ask the child, how was the event? They may or may not be able to engage in a conversation with them about it. But if the parent was there, even on the ride home, you can talk about some things. We had an event on Saturday, and all of the youth that were there, all of our teen ambassadors, their parents were there. And I got so many texts afterwards thanking us, telling us what a great event it was, how they had a great time. The parents were in sessions. Me and one of my parents was in a session together, dealing with some things as women. So again, their ability to be a great parent and support their teen, support their child or children, comes from them having good mental health. Because it is stressful being a parent now. It is stressful being someone that is guiding young people. So I love the holistic approach that I know that Torch, we're being more intentional about going into season 3. We have 13 teen ambassadors. 11 of those 13 are being raised in single parent household. So there are some challenges there that you may see that you may not have in a 2-parent household. And that's why we want to come in and serve these teens, serve their parents, provide them with what they need so that, again, holistically, everyone could be in a good mental health space. So it's important just to be able to make sure the teens get what they need. And so parents, be present as much as you can. When these events come out, find a way to get it on your calendar, to make arrangements to be there so that you can be a vital part of supporting and guiding your teen with your presence, not just dropping them off and saying, well, I let them go to this event. it's important that you're there also. Just like you're at the sporting events and other things, anything dealing with mental health, leadership, preparing for college, try to be present, try to get the information, try to let your presence be known there.
Trauma is real. Mental health is real. It's so important to get the help if you need help. It's so important to realize that there's resources out here. And so we grieve. Some of us deal with the trauma. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel anxiety. It's okay to have those memories, the pain, the hurt, the disappointment that goes with the trauma. I managed to turn my trauma into my testimony,
I know
and
that
this
you was
is
a
why
part
we're
of
having the mental health wellness experience. This is why not only do we make it
when
right
it comes to community building?
as far as allowing
first of all,
individuals
you
to
got to
become
have it in your
certified
spirit.
for free,
You know, there's a
but
lot
we
of people
give
that
them an
got wealth,
opportunity to have some of the
and they're
best
doing
instructors to teach mental health. We provide the lunch. You all, it may be some mother, some father that's out there that's saying, you don't know, I'm busy working. I have to work. I'm dealing with my own trauma. I'm dealing with my own childhood trauma. And so I just don't have time. I don't know how to be that father. I don't know how to be that mother. Nobody taught me. I was in foster home. We were homeless. I seen a lot. I want to say to you that it is okay. There's help out there. The healthcare professionals, such as the therapists, the licensed counselors, the psychiatrists, they can give you the diagnosis, you all. And so it's okay to go to that friend. Some people has been church hurt. And so when it comes to the church hurt part about everything, how do you think that the faith base dealing with the church altogether has participated in a lot of the mental health?
I think that the structure of the church was once the foundation of the black family. Now we are in a time where the structure of the black family is social media. The idea of what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman, a lot of people are basing that on what they see on social media. And so we got to understand that social media is all about trends. What works today works today. What works tomorrow works then. But those biblical principles are principles because they've worked for hundreds of years. And so we went from something that was truly structured on something that was solid to something that is based on trends. And so it's like building a house made of straw. You take a house off its foundation and build it with straw. What's going to happen when the storms come? The storm is going to destroy the house. And so with that analogy, that is what has happened to a lot of our families in our communities. They took it from a foundation structure to a house made of straw. And every time those storms come, the house is destroyed.
I like that scenario. Spirit check.
Mental health matters.
Spirit check.
Mental health matters.
The foundation. We can all relate to the church. Church hurt is real. People say it a lot. We are the church as an individual. And so I know that you probably are dealing with all cultures of youth, all colors, because there is no prejudice when it comes to mental health.
Right.
It doesn't matter what culture you come from, how rich, how poor that you are, anybody can suffer from mental health. And usually, unfortunately, children, through child development, suffers a whole lot because it's always said, it's one of our sayings, that it's easy to raise up a child than prepare a broken man or woman that's been broken. So it starts with the basics. You dealing with the youth. How does you think the church have played a role, whether it be good or bad, when it comes to individuals who just seeking for something that help? We know the spiritual help, but just being broken down through the church.
Right. Well, I had an opportunity to serve as a youth director for 12, 13 years back in Louisiana. So I saw different dynamics of people coming into the church, to the building, single mothers, families, with children. And a lot of needs were met, a lot of lives were blessed, a lot of people were encouraged. But there was also, again, people coming in, I'll just say as a single parent with 1 or 2 children, may have never been married or divorced, whatever it may be. And they were kind of judged unfairly based on things that had nothing to do with what Mr. Durden just talked about, biblical principles. And it was unfair. At the time, I didn't understand what it meant, because I had an opportunity when I joined the church at 27 years old, when I became Christ at 27 years old. I was discipled by someone that brought me to a church where she had been there for years. So people accepted me because of her. So when people talk about being church hurt, I know that's a broad term, but we got to be more particular what it is, because the church is a big part of community. It is a big part of feeling safe if you're part of the right fellowship. But for people that have been church hurt and it has stained them on feeling safe, it impacts their mental health, because they feel like if I go to church, go to the building and get hurt, and church folks hurt me, the rest of the world, I don't trust anyone. I encourage you to really evaluate again, what were you seeking when you went to the church, to that fellowship? And also, I'm sure there were people there that did great things for you, but it is a real phenomenon that's going on now. People say they would never, I know people say they would never join another church, that they have their relationship with God and they're good on that. For young people, and like I said, I saw a lot of amazing young people come up through youth ministry. Myself and someone else that I served with, we were the first ones a lot of times for young men that were announcing their calling after their family knew. They came and told us. I was privileged a few years back to have a young man at 17 years old preach his first sermon on my birthday. That was just a really special thing. And I say all that to say, bringing it back to youth and serving youth, it's all about purpose. It's all about purpose. A lot of people run from their purpose. A lot of people don't know their purpose, and that can impact your mental health. Because when you know what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be able to, no pun intended, torch through whatever you need to go through, because your purpose allows you to serve no matter how hurt you are, how broken you are, because you're serving somebody else, and in the midst of you serving somebody else, it helps to heal you. So all the people out there that have been hurt by the church, hurt by individuals in the church, I just encourage you to kind of seek some solace in what was it you were looking for at that particular time that you didn't get, because I promise you, there's a lot of great fellowships out there. And it's ironic that you asked that question, because I'm kind of in the midst of that situation right now, and I'm just trusting God, because I know that serving people comes from being a part of a fellowship, to truly serve people.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Faith-based leaders, pastors, they're all part of community building. What makes a community? You have a mayor, you have the elected officials, you have those leaders in that community with the drive that you have to be able to work and build in the community. So it's so important to build a healthy relationship and get the education about the building. What are some of the things that you have been doing in the community as far as bridging the gap, building with police departments, the schools? Just talk more about that.
Really just participating in speaking at events for the Dallas Police Department. I spoke inside juveniles, inside prisons. I've spoke at different community events to really just share the message of the importance of first year decisions, the involvement of parents into their children's lives, and also the mental health aspect of how all those things come together and have an impact on our mental health. And so just really being able to, share the information that I've received and inspire them and encourage them that no matter what they've been through or what they're going through, that there's always a ability to come out better than what you went into the situation.
Oh, most definitely. And so when I think about community building, I can't help but think about Pastor Julius, just knowing the importance of mental health, opening up the Comfort Church to allow individuals to come to get certified. We have been certifying individuals since 2015. And over that period of time, it's been over 8,000 individuals in the city of Grand Prairie that's gotten certified. And just recently, for a few years, I've been at the Dalworth Recreation Center. And that's why I cannot help but thank the city of Grand Prairie for allowing, especially the Parks and Recreation, for allowing us to have great panel discussions. We had a great event that you all both participated in each time. Even with you both instructing Torch, that was a wonderful event, and people saw what they were watching and saying, hey, I want to be a part of that. And to know that we are a part of the traveling team now, and we're headed from state to state, from Texas to Tennessee. We're going to be going to Atlanta, all over New York, and having great events, all over to spread the awareness of mental health. Having the therapists, having the psychiatrists, having the faith leaders, the people in the community that means the most to come and share uncomfortable conversations. And so being that when it comes down to decision making, it's very, very important. And I know that it is structured, when you're dealing with a lot of the youth and they have their different personalities, because developing from a teenager, they're going through all adolescent stages and having symptoms and things like that. What are you seeing a lot? There's more conflict, and you able to have to come in there and do conflict solution?
I mean, you see a little bit of everything. That was one of the things for me working on the middle school level. High schoolers, in my opinion, are much easier to work with. They're a little bit older, a little bit more independent. But middle and junior high, that's a very it's a very tender age for a lot of different reasons. They're transitioning from that upper early childhood to being an adolescent. They're trying to figure themselves out. They're trying to figure out peer relationships. They're having conflicts with their parents because they want more independence. So it's just a lot. And again, it all goes back to them feeling heard and feeling like they have a safe space. So being certified as a first aid youth mental health first responder is so important, because like I just really dig into that book a lot. Like I really do, because I'm not a trained mental health professional, but I know there's so many tools in there that can help me identify and kind of use some strategies to work with young people in a way that can kind of make them feel like it's going to be okay. And if they need more intensive support, of course, I direct them to a mental health professional. But it's a challenge, but it's worth it and it's needed, because again, it's really critical at that developmental stage.
Yes, the youth is facing so much. On the news, we're hearing social media, the gun violence,
yes,
the black on black crime, just the killings, all of domestic violence. We're seeing more women now killing their significant other. It's just growing and growing. From a spiritual point of view, we're just living like in perilous times that go on. And so, Derek, I want to turn to you because you not only are going back and giving back into the prison system, but you also found yourself incarcerated. You are big on help educating people on making better decisions. What was that like during the time that you were in prison? And did they have programs? What helped you and inspired you? Hey, when I get out, I'm going to make a difference. I'm gonna be a difference. What was that like?
There were different programs. There was 3 programs that really stuck out to most, and that was first Bridges to Life, where victims of crimes come back into the prison system and share their stories of how crime really affected their lives and the lives of the people that they care about and love. The second one was cognitive intervention. Shout out to Shelley Carter, who was my cognitive intervention teacher. And it's basically thinking about your thinking, stepping outside your thoughts and analyzing those thoughts as they go through the process of being processed through your head. and understanding how your thoughts create your feelings and how your feelings create your actions. And then lastly, it will be Toastmasters, being able to take the things that I've been able to learn, express them and package them and deliver them to other people is really some of the things that the 3 programs that really changed me and made me being able to be capable to be the person that I am today.
That's amazing. Just having organizations, you all being able to make a difference and pour in. It goes back to, it takes a community. It takes people to have the strength and the motivation to motivate. And it's not always easy to have that vision and have people to understand and follow the vision. But to have the strength, to be able to go on and persevere to make sure that we get it out there that mental health is real. And it does happen, and our youth are the ones that are suffering more from it. What does this look like for our journey? I'm going to start with you. We're going to be on I-30, I-40 in Famous Sue Restaurant, headed having a great panel, a soul food, seafood type of luncheon panel for mental health awareness, you all. So what does that look like for you, for the experience?
Yeah, I know we're about to have to wrap this up, and so I definitely want to talk about the importance of mental health and the experience of really being able to share our message about mental health and the importance of it and how it can really change lives. The importance of being a first aid mental health responder, being able to recognize and just direct these individuals to the help that they need. This whole experience of really sharing and really just uplifting individuals, removing the stigmas, and helping mental health be more tangible to them is really what this is all about for me.
All right, then. Like you said, we're headed I-30,
Tennessee.
40 to Tennessee.
Yes, West Tennessee. I kind of looked up where Humboldt is at. So
yeah, and I know that Gorilla. She says, I'm from Missile, like that. So, how what's the excitement part about it? Because I know that we're gonna bring the experience to outside of Memphis, Tennessee. What does that look like to you? Famous soul food restaurant.
Yes. I'm looking forward to, again, just a different atmosphere and just meeting different individuals and seeing what is taking place with youth and families there in that area. We know a lot of the issues are national, but some of them are specific to certain areas. So, what is needed here in West Tennessee that the mental health wellness experience can come back. And again, I know this is your second year going there, but also in the school systems with other community organizations, what is something that Torch could do to implement our program? Because the Torch Team program is a program. It is a curriculum. I am a curriculum writer. Mr. Durden writes curriculum. So we are about providing information, knowledge, being on the preventative and proactive side. So we are looking forward. So my final comment is that, again, mental health matters. Torch stands for tackling opposition with resilience, character, and heart. We care about our young people. We care about investing in the future generation. And we're just looking forward to this experience.
I'm most definitely, looking forward to it. I've been told you like to eat, Carol. You like to eat too much.
We're seeing that right now, Carol. You just pulled out whole mac and cheese on us.
Whole mac and cheese. So when I think about Famous Soul Food Restaurant, I can just think about the delicious food that Sister Mary prepares, and it's just so good. And so I have my delicious macaroni and cheese, and I'm not trying to be
playing
greedy.
that?
I can share, but I know that it's germs.
No,
we were always
good.
taught don't eat after anybody. So we were always taught not to do that. But I am excited about this trip because it's going to be a life-changing experience. You all have got a parents to be a part of the experience. And so it's just seeing the after effects of just all type of professions of people just really just happy and satisfied afterwards. Mm-hmm. And so as we close, I'm just going to ask you to so many people watching, and they're gonna come. What is to be expected? I'm gonna start with you all as I eat this delicious mac and cheese, because she knows how to make some macaroni and cheese, y'all. So I'm just gonna listen to you.
I think what's going to be expected is basically what is called an experience of understanding mental health, getting more educated on mental health, and how we can apply certain tools and techniques in order to really be able to move forward the mental health agenda. That's what I believe that they have to look forward to.
That knowledge.
Yes. And I concur with Mr. Durden. So, yes, we're looking forward to it.
So, what are they going to be looking forward what you're going to bring? Everybody has their own personality, but we're part of the mental health wellness experience community step in. So, what is the people expected? Not just the food, not just the delicious food, the soul food and the seafood mental health lunching, but what is expected from your own as a leader, as a panelist, to be expected?
Just the conversation, the conversation of engaging with the audience as a panelist, taking any questions, but also sharing my experience as an educator, as a youth advocate. This will be probably the third panel that Mr. Durden and I have done, and I think we align well. He has a lot of lived experiences, so he's able to speak on it from that perspective. For me, it is my my tenure being an educator, and then also working with young people in different settings, working with families. So I hope to bring some of that to the discussion, but also get some insight from the audience, because the last event we had, the audience comments and insight brought a lot of depth to the conversation. And if you are in the West Tennessee area, Humboldt, Jackson, anywhere near there, next Saturday, August 9th, Famous Soul Food, please come out anytime between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and join us for a conversation that is needed to be had about mental health. And then we want to hear your voice on it. We want to hear your voice.
Yes, we do. It's going to actually be August the 9th, that Saturday. 9th, yes. August the 9th from 11:30 to 3:30 p.m. at Famous Soul Food Restaurant. And so it is okay, you all. A lot of the men, they feel like that they don't want to talk about mental health. There's just a stigma behind it. It's okay, but you have to get you some help. It's in now. It's in. Speaking to somebody, going to see a therapist, going to see a psychiatrist, that's the going thing now. People are getting the help, you all. You don't have to feel like that you're all by yourself, because it is in, you all, to go and seek that help that you need, because there's resources out there, you all. There's so many organizations that are embracing individuals, giving them resources, and there's hospitals out there. A lot of them institution have been closed down, but people are now embracing it, and we're going to have to really come together, stand together. And that's why I'm glad that I like this team with the mental health wellness experience, because they are taking some things away. They are closing down and building more jails and more prisons rather than mental health facility centers. And we're trying to pace the way, strive the way for our future leaders, and it comes by having these uncomfortable conversations regarding mental health and realizing that we do need it, you all. And so I'm gonna say spirit check, and I want y'all to say mental health matter. Spirit check.
Mental health matters.
Spirit check.
Mental health matters.
Because your mental health matters. If you want to become certified as a mental health first responder, first aid, you may reach out to me, Carol Harrison Lafayette. My number is 903-305-7424. My number once again is 903-305-7424. I want to thank the North Texas Behavior for Mental Health. I want to thank once again the City of Grand Prairie Parks and Recreation Center for allowing us to be able to host and bring the mental health wellness experience, panel discussions, bringing celebrity guests, keeping it quiet and embracing them as they get the help that they need, because it has been some celebrity guests that have come to the City of Grand Prairie, whether people knew it or not, but I knew how to mastermind that by not putting it out there, because people tend to want to come. And some people just coming to get the help. They don't want all that publicity. They don't want to be known. And that's what I like about the mental health wellness experience, because everybody's a star. Everybody's somebody, because we're all a candidate for mental health. We're all subject to have a nervous breakdown. But guess what? Help is help. And we're saying that mental health matter, and by it making it matter, we're going to have to continue to make it matter by continuing with the mental health wellness experience. And we thank you all so much for joining us, and get the help that we need. Spirit check.
Mental health matters.
Spirit check.
Mental health matters.